What if your constant fatigue, body pain, or low mood isn't just stress, but a hidden vitamin D deficiency? Millions of Americans have low vitamin D levels, and most don't even know it. Today, we'll reveal 8 early warning signs your body might be showing right now. Before we begin, if you are new to the channel, quickly subscribe to The Health Reason and click the bell icon so that you can be updated with every new video. Let's get started now. 1. You're always tired. Let's go deeper than just feeling tired. In the United States, chronic fatigue is one of the most searched health complaints online. People assume it's stress, poor sleep, aging, hormones, or just a busy lifestyle. But here's the part most people miss. Low levels of vitamin D don't just affect your bones. They influence how nearly every cell in your body produces and regulates energy. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a typical vitamin. It binds to receptors found in your muscles, brain, immune cells, and even your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells. When vitamin D is low, cellular energy production becomes less efficient. Inflammation levels can rise. Muscle fibers fatigue faster. Sleep quality may subtly decline. Now imagine that happening every single day. You wake up feeling like your battery is never fully charged overnight. You rely on caffeine just to feel normal. By mid-afternoon, you hit a crash that feels almost physical. Heavy limbs, brain fog, difficulty concentrating. And here's what makes it worse. Many Americans work indoors 8 to 10 hours a day. Add sunscreen, long winters, northern states, and screen-based lifestyles, and natural sun exposure drops dramatically. Your body produces vitamin D primarily when UVB rays hit your skin. Without consistent exposure, levels can quietly decline for months, even years. What's scary is that this fatigue often becomes your new normal. You forget what real energy feels like. You think maybe this is just adulthood, but persistent. Unexplained fatigue is one of the earliest and most common warning signs. And here's something else. Low vitamin D is often linked with higher inflammatory markers in the body. Chronic low-grade inflammation can make you feel tired even when blood work looks mostly normal. If your exhaustion feels disproportionate to your lifestyle, don't ignore it. Your body might not be lazy. It might be lacking a crucial regulatory hormone. 2. Frequent colds or infections. Let's talk about your immune system. If you feel like you're constantly fighting something, a cold, sinus infection, lingering cough, vitamin D could be playing a hidden role. Vitamin D helps activate T cells, which are essential for identifying and destroying pathogens. Without enough vitamin D, immune cells may not respond efficiently. That means you get sick more often, infections last longer, recovery feels slower. Minor illnesses hit harder. This becomes especially noticeable in fall and winter across the U.S. Why? Because sunlight exposure drops, and so do vitamin D levels. Studies have observed that respiratory infections tend to increase when vitamin D levels decline seasonally. And think about this. During winter months, Americans spend more time indoors. Windows closed, less UV exposure. At the same time, immune challenges increase. It's a double hit. Now imagine your immune system as a security system. Vitamin D acts like the signal that turns the system on and coordinates the response. Without it, the alarm is slower. The defense is weaker. That's why people with low levels sometimes say, "I feel like I never fully recover." If you're experiencing recurring bronchitis, repeated sinus issues, frequent sore throats, constant mild fatigue after illness, your immune system may be undersupported. And this doesn't just affect older adults. Even younger, seemingly healthy individuals can experience immune vulnerability if levels are chronically low. This isn't about panic. It's about awareness. Your immune resilience may depend on more than just sleep and hand washing. 3. Bone pain or lower back pain. Here's where most people think vitamin D begins and ends. Bones. But even here, early signs are subtle. Vitamin D enables calcium absorption in the gut. Without adequate levels, calcium intake doesn't translate into bone strength efficiently. Over time, this can lead to deep aching pain, tenderness in the ribs, persistent lower back discomfort, hip sensitivity. This pain is often described as dull and constant rather than sharp. Many Americans assume back pain comes from posture, sitting too long, or mattress quality. But sometimes the issue is metabolic. When calcium isn't absorbed properly, bones can gradually lose density. Long-term severe deficiency increases risk for conditions like osteoporosis. But you don't wake up one day with osteoporosis. It starts silently. The early phase may simply feel like unexplained skeletal discomfort. What's especially concerning is that many adults don't get enough vitamin D through diet alone. Fatty fish, fortified milk, egg yolks, they help, but often not enough to compensate for low sun exposure. If your back pain persists despite stretching, ergonomic adjustments, and exercise, it might be time to look deeper. Sometimes the root cause isn't mechanical, it's biochemical. 4. Muscle weakness. This is one that surprises a lot of people. Vitamin D receptors exist directly inside muscle tissue. That means vitamin D influences muscle contraction, coordination, and strength. When levels drop, muscle fibers may shrink slightly. Strength output can decrease. Reaction time may be slow. Recovery after workouts becomes longer. Older adults with deficiency have shown increased fall risk due to muscle weakness, but younger adults may notice subtler signs. You struggle more during workouts that used to feel manageable. You feel shaky during squats or stair climbing. Your legs fatigue faster during simple tasks. This isn't always dramatic. It's gradual, and that's why it's overlooked. You blame stress. You blame age. You blame poor sleep. But if your physical strength feels like it's quietly declining without a clear reason, vitamin D could be a missing piece. Muscles aren't just for fitness. They stabilize joints. They protect bones. They maintain balance. If they weaken, everything else becomes more vulnerable. 5. Feeling depressed or low. Now let's talk about something that often gets dismissed. Mood. If you've been feeling emotionally flat, unmotivated, or unusually irritable, it might not just be stress. Low levels of vitamin D have been associated with changes in brain chemistry, particularly involving serotonin, a neurotransmitter that plays a major role in mood regulation. Vitamin D receptors are found in areas of the brain responsible for emotional processing. That means this nutrient doesn't just affect your bones. It affects how your brain communicates. Here's what that can look like in real life. You wake up without motivation. You don't feel excited about things you used to enjoy. You feel mentally heavy. Small problems feel overwhelming. In many northern U.S. states, seasonal mood shifts are common during fall and winter when sunlight exposure drops significantly. Less sunlight means less natural vitamin D production. This is one reason conditions like seasonal depression tend to increase during darker months. Now, let's be clear. Not all depression is caused by vitamin D deficiency. Mental health is complex and influenced by many factors. But when deficiency exists, it can contribute to symptoms like low energy, brain fog, emotional instability, reduced resilience to stress. And because the change is gradual, people rarely connect the dots. They assume, I'm just burned out. I'm just stressed. I'm just getting older. But if mood changes are paired with fatigue, muscle weakness, or frequent illness, it becomes a bigger picture. The brain is an organ, and like every organ, it depends on proper nutrient signaling. When that signal weakens, emotional balance can shift. If you've noticed a change in your emotional baseline, especially without a clear trigger, it may be worth checking your levels. Sometimes the issue isn't purely psychological. Sometimes it's physiological. 6. Hair thinning. Hair loss is one of the most searched health concerns in America. And while genetics and hormones are major players, vitamin D also plays a role in hair follicle cycling. Hair grows in cycles: growth phase, rest phase, shedding phase. Vitamin D receptors are present in hair follicles. When levels drop significantly, the growth cycle can be disrupted. That doesn't mean instant baldness. It usually looks like increased shedding in the shower, thinning at the crown, slower regrowth, hair feeling weaker or more brittle. Many people immediately assume thyroid problems or stress, and those are valid possibilities. But deficiency can be an overlooked contributor. What makes this tricky is that hair thinning often happens slowly. You don't notice it day to day. You notice it over months. And because vitamin D deficiency can also increase inflammation levels in the body, it may indirectly affect scalp health. Again, this isn't about fear. It's about patterns. If hair thinning is happening alongside fatigue, muscle weakness, and mood shifts, that pattern matters. Hair health is often a reflection of internal balance. When something inside the body isn't optimal, hair can be one of the first visible clues. 7. Slow wound healing. Let's talk about recovery. Have you noticed that cuts, bruises, or minor injuries seem to take longer to heal than they used to? Vitamin D plays a regulatory role in inflammation and immune coordination, both critical for wound repair. Healing requires a carefully balanced inflammatory response. Too little inflammation and repair is slow. Too much inflammation and tissue damage increases. Vitamin D helps maintain that balance. When levels are insufficient, wound healing can become less efficient. This is particularly relevant for individuals with metabolic conditions, where healing is already challenged. But even in otherwise healthy adults, slow recovery may be an early signal. You might notice bruises lingering longer, small cuts taking extra days to close, muscle soreness lasting longer than expected. Your body is constantly repairing itself, and that repair process depends on hormonal signals. When one of those signals is weakened, recovery may slow down. It's subtle, but noticeable over time. 8. Excessive sweating, especially the head. This is one of the lesser-known early signs. Excessive head sweating has historically been linked to deficiency, especially in infants, but adults can experience it too. Now, sweating alone doesn't confirm anything, but when combined with other symptoms on this list, it can become meaningful. Vitamin D helps regulate certain neurological and inflammatory processes. When levels are low, the nervous system may respond differently to stress or temperature changes. You might notice sweating disproportionately from the scalp, night sweating without a clear cause, feeling overheated easily. Doctors often overlook this sign because it seems minor, but your body rarely sends only one signal. It sends patterns. The key is recognizing when multiple small signs point toward one underlying issue. Your body whispers before it screams, and deficiency is often a whisper at first. Tip for my viewers: if you notice 2 or more of these signs, it might be time to check your vitamin D levels. Simple blood tests can confirm it, and correcting it is often easier than you think. Subscribe for more science-backed health tips that could change your life. Be safe, be healthy, be happy.